On where investors' heads are right now, I'm joined by Lai Olalero, who's head equity trading at Codrus Capital. Lai, it's great to have you on the show. Now, I think investors will be keen to know what's going on with Transcorp. And someone I spoke to earlier today said that they expected to see the rally in that stock cooling off this week. And we can see that stock in the list of laggers in early trade. So what's the status on Transcorp?
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Basically, at the moment, Transcorp is trading at the limit down price of 5 naira 31 kobo, and if you do the computation, that's well over 10% loss. And I mean, it's something that we expected to see this week, although it's coming very early. But there were preliminary signals last week to show that this kind of reversal of the rally is going to happen this week, because in between trading on Friday, I mean, we saw at a point in time that the stock temporarily went on rally before the bull gained the strength back on the same stock. But this week, I think this is just the beginning, and if the bull couldn't sustain the trend today, then we might see the stock going on rally offer throughout the whole week.
So, I mean, what price do you think Transcorp will close at this week? I mean, I know some analysts actually expected to get to 8 naira this week. Certainly, as you're saying, it looks like that might not happen.
Yeah, I think it's an extreme optimistic view to expect Transcorp to suddenly jump to 8 naira this week. And I mean, the question we'll begin to ask ourselves is basically what are those factors we're expecting to take it to 8 naira this week? And one of those factors would basically be the fundamental, because there is a certain level to which a bullish rally can sustain a stock. Averagely on the market, I mean, there is this popular belief that rallies don't usually last more than 10 trading days. But I mean, Transcorp has been able to break that jinx. But I mean, the question will now be, okay, what will keep on sustaining the stock going forward? I mean, I can't really see that, because if we see the kind of volume that has been injected into the market through this period of the rally is well around 1 billion units, and the people taking this position are mainly short-term traders. I mean, you see clients who say, oh, I want to make this kind of return within 1 or 2 weeks, and of course you expect those people to come back to the market within a short day. And so we're beginning to see a number of them, and if the market doesn't close in positive for the stock this week, it may mean that the stock will keep on going on offer. Because mind you, the kind of offer that we're seeing now is basically known to majorly traders and prop investors that are keeping an eye on the market. The average investor out there hasn't known. I mean, they'll be getting the information in business news later in the evening today, and that could spike a lot of offer on the stock for the week.
Now, like another stock to watch this week, livestock in the agri sector. Now, we've seen Presco and Okomo Oil, some of the gainers in early trade. So it looks like the gains we saw in livestock seems to be filtering into the agri sector. But how is that particular stock trading today?
Yeah, it's been trading normally, and I think basically we always expect this kind of optimism for the agricultural sector, because when level of optimism for investment is increasing, basically we see different classes of investors coming into the market, and we see the cautious one, we see the risk takers. And so when you see that, you expect that the agricultural sector will be the kind of pick for people who are risk averse. And so the kind of rally we're seeing in Presco, livestock, and all the agricultural sector alike are the kind of investors that don't want to take much of risk. And I think that we'll keep on seeing these stocks going on the upward trend in a few days to come.
Now, let's talk about the banking sector. We saw Unity Bank up 35.3% last week. Now, I must point out that that stock has gone up 38% year to date, reaching its year high of 1.16 in February. So how's that trading today, Unity Bank?
Yeah, Unity Bank, the bid for this stock has not been very strong today. And I've also seen that trend in a couple of other banking stocks that have been on rally. I mean, the rally for most penny stocks in the banking sector have been on and off. I mean, for Wema, we've seen Wema go on rally, upward rally, and sometimes it went back again. So I'm not expecting any sustainable kind of growth for some of these stocks. But of course, I mean, they are cheap stocks, and people who are investing in these stocks are basically looking at it, okay, fine, which kind of stock can quickly give a higher kind of returns? And you know, those kind of stocks are the stocks that are fairly priced. And if you look at the peer pricing in the whole of the industry, basically, people start benchmarking a Unity Bank with a Sterling Bank and some other banks. So we'll still see people putting their bet on a Unity and a Wema in days to come. And so we should still watch out, but we're not going to see the kind of rally we've been seeing in other sectors. coming into Unity Bank.
Now let's talk about UBA. Now some analysts say that that is one stock that we should be focusing on right now, given its links to the financing of the Transco power plant. Now that stock is actually one of the top performing tier 1 banks this year. It's up 83%. So share your thoughts on UBA.
Yeah, I so much believe in UBA as a bank, and of course the potential that the deal they're having with Transco will definitely bring to them in the future. But a word of caution is that the kind of return we're seeing may not start trickling down at the moment, because the power sector takeover by the private investor will definitely take a number of months for us to start seeing the gain materialize. And you all know that they have to do a lot of cleanup from the past kind of owners that they were that had the company before. And so if you're investing, you are definitely investing for the future. So it's not a stock for the short-term traders. So anybody that is banking on UBA now should be looking at at least a minimum of a year horizon. And so I totally agree. I mean, the stock trading below 10 naira and having such a great deal on his laps, I mean, will definitely bring good and great return in the future.
Let's talk about Oando, because we saw Q3 results not so great from the company, and even still we saw that stock go up 32.3% last week, despite the results, which was of course surprising for some. Now, in early trade today, we're seeing that stock going down. So, give us an update on what's going on with Oando. Do you expect to continue to see that stock price dropping?
Yeah, as for Oando, basically, if I look at what may be the major driver for Oando as a stock itself, I think it's about peer pricing. And if you look at the sector generally, in the oil and gas sector, you discover that a couple of stocks in that sector have been fairly priced beyond, what some of us expect. Like for EFO, for example, you've seen over 1,000% gain since the beginning of this year to date. And if you look at Etana as well, it has been sustaining its own rally. And basically what people are expecting that, okay, if Oando that has a fairly strong fundamental can be trading at the price it is today, then definitely there is an upward expectation. And we saw that slightly on Wednesday last week when the demand for that stock started rising. And along the line, I think the following day, there was a douse in that tension, and we saw the stock trading normally. But I still believe that if we have a rally in the sector generally, the Oando as a particular stock will still witness a kind of upward trend, because the stock can remain at the lower level of 15 naira plus that we're seeing it at the moment.
Definitely.